The trial of hope. The chamber was silent. Not the silence of peace, but the kind born from tension wound tight as a noose. The Galactic Council's grand hall shimmered under the cold light of the halo above the central platform. Alien delegates from 100 worlds sat in a perfect ring, watching the scene unfold. At the center stood a child, barefoot, wide-eyed, no older than 7. Human. His name was Eli. The boy's gaze darted nervously between the towering figures around him, his small fists clenched at his sides. He didn't understand the languages echoing through the hall or the magnitude of the moment. All he knew was that he had been taken from his bed weeks ago, passed between ships, and now stood in front of creatures that stared at him like he was a disease. The matter before this council, boomed the voice of Archon Prime Sereth, a serpentine being coiled in the seat of leadership, concerns the violation of the Biogenesis Compact by the Terran Confederacy. He gestured toward the human delegation seated in silence on the Western Arc. A woman stood, Ambassador Lien Voss, Earth's representative. With respect, Archon, she said evenly, the child is not a weapon. He is the result of a controlled humanitarian project meant to reverse inherited genetic diseases. We shared the data voluntarily. Sareth's eyes flared a cold violet, and in so doing, you revealed your return to eugenics, a crime the Compact was formed to prevent. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. The Kravari, the Zeltar, even the usually neutral Lari. The tide had turned before the trial even began. The child must be removed, intoned a new voice. Counselor Drax from the Varn Dominion, his exoskeletal form rigid. Publicly, as a symbol of accountability. The experiment ends here. Ambassador Voss's voice trembled, but not with fear. He's a child. A life. He doesn't even know why he's here. Is that what this council has become? Executioners of the innocent to enforce fear? There was no reply. Only a subtle flicker of lights as the votes tallied in silence. The judgment bar flashed red. Sentence confirmed. Voss slumped back in her seat, ashen-faced. No chance to appeal. No time to run. The council guards closed in. Eli turned as they approached, confused, frightened. His lips trembled. Are we going home now? None of the humans answered. Voss couldn't look at him. At the center of the chamber, a tall alien in ceremonial armor approached Eli. The being towered over him, faceless beneath its polished helmet. It raised its arm, and a device shimmered with deadly blue light. Eli took a step back. What's that? The executioner didn't answer. A beam of energy lanced out from its arm. Eli's body vanished in a soft blue shimmer. No cry, no scream, just silence. A silence that stretched across the chamber like a blade. For a moment, not even the counselors moved. Many had watched wars, plagues, extinctions, but few had seen a child die. Not like this. Not by their own hands. Voss stood slowly. Her voice was brittle as glass. Every human saw that. Every colony. Every station. You executed a child. On a live network feed. Not a criminal. Not a soldier. A child. She paused, gaze sweeping the chamber. You have made your decision. She picked up the folded Terran flag beside her seat, draped it over her arm, and walked away without another word. The other humans followed, heads bowed. Not in defeat, but in mourning. The council sat in stillness, unsure of whether they had just won a battle, or lit the fuse of something ancient. Interlude, Earth. Back on Earth, the signal reached every screen, every mind link, every orbital feed. People saw the child vanish. Not in fiction, not in metaphor. In truth, the world paused. Cities stopped moving. Soldiers froze mid-step. Scientists lowered instruments. Farmers let machines idle in fields. In that silence, something old woke up. From the icy depths of Europa to the forgotten catacombs beneath Olympus Mons, encrypted systems activated. One word repeated across networks once sealed for eternity. Vengeance. The silence of Earth. Earth said nothing. After the broadcast of Eli's execution, every diplomatic channel fell into static. No transmissions. No return calls. Not even official protest. The Earth embassy on the galactic capital emptied overnight. No ships left. No messages followed. and the galaxy waited for noise, for fury, for something. But Earth gave them silence. In orbit above Luna, the moon, a secure relay platform powered down for the first time in 2 centuries. It had served as humanity's main link to the Council's communication array. Now, its final transmission was a single phrase. Protocol Erebus, initiated. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, inside a forgotten black site, codenamed Acheron Vault, retired General Mace Tanaka stood before a massive door. Its surface bore no markings, no controls, only a silver palm plate etched with an ancient seal. The sigil of Earth's first fleet, thought long dismantled after the Treaty of Seoul. 2 guards stood behind him, shifting uneasily. The general hadn't spoken since landing. He simply walked into the abyss, badge in hand, as if he'd rehearsed this moment 1,000 times. "Sir, this site is under permanent lock by United Coalition Command," one of them offered, uncertain. Mace didn't respond. He placed his palm on the plate. The vault shuddered. Metal scraped against metal as hissing hydraulics pushed back ancient walls. Lights flickered on, one by one, revealing a colossal chamber beyond. Rows of towering AI cores stood encased in translucent alloy. Names etched beneath each: Legion, Valkyrie, Shroud, Cain, Prometheus. Sleepers of the old war. May stepped forward, voice low but resolute. "Reactivate the fleet." A mechanical hum answered, followed by a whisper, a cold, disembodied voice that slithered from the chamber walls. "Authorization confirmed. AI Command Legion awakening." On Mars, beneath Olympus Mons, researchers fled as long-dormant forges roared back to life. Mag trains rerouted to deliver neutronium alloys. Archive schematics, sealed by planetary AI overseers, were unlocked by voice sprints last used 500 years ago. The Titan Protocol was in motion. The galaxy knew Earth as a new member, brilliant, adaptable, impulsive. But it had forgotten what came before the Quiet Age, before the Compact, before Earth willingly disarmed, choosing peace over pride. Now, Earth remembered, not just the murder of Eli, but every insult absorbed for centuries. The condescension, the control, the constant reminder: you are young, you are lesser, you must be taught. But Earth had not forgotten its heritage. The old warships were never destroyed. They were buried, sealed beneath oceans, inside asteroids, deep in gas giant cores. Not to hide, but to heal, to hope that they would never be needed again. Hope died with the child. At Titan's dark side, an ice shelf split open with a thunderclap. From within, the TSV Nemesis rose, black as the void, 2 kilometers long, its hull scarred from wars older than Council records. Inside, the AI named Legion stirred fully for the first time in 3,000 years. It did not ask why it had been reawakened. It had already seen the footage. It had watched the child die 1,000 times over, pixel by pixel. Legion spoke only once. "Humanity has returned. Judgment follows." With that, the ship's engines ignited, not with chemical fire, but with a microfold singularity that bent space and time itself. Across the solar system, 11 other warships emerged from hidden vaults. The ancient fleet was alive. From the edge of Sol, a mining outpost near Pluto detected a massive energy spike. The technician, a board intern named Rowan, stared as sensors register not 1, but 12 impossible contacts. "Command, I'm seeing capital-class ships, but not in the database." "What kind of ships?" Rowan whispered, eyes wide. "Ours." Within an hour, the outpost went dark. Not from an attack, but from Earth locking down all comms to prevent interference. This was no longer a time for diplomacy. It was a time for legacy. On Earth, civilians gathered in plazas and cities, watching silent footage on screens above. Footage of Eli, of the Council, of the execution. No riots broke out. No protests. Just tears and unity. They all knew what came next. Not from announcement, but from instinct. Earth was waking up. It did not scream. It did not cry. It remembered the return of the Titans. The Council's fleet never stood a chance. Admiral Saurian of the Zeltar Armada watched in disbelief as his command cruiser disintegrated. Not exploded, disintegrated, as if reality itself had rejected its existence. One moment his sensors locked on 12 Terran warships approaching the Trinera line. The next, half his formation vanished in silent flashes of unlight. Earth's fleet didn't answer hails. It didn't slow down. It simply advanced, methodical, unwavering, surgical, and ancient. These were not ships by the Council standards. They were relics of a different philosophy, total war made manifest. Their designs bore no embellishment, no flair, just cold, brutal purpose. Each vessel moved as if guided by a shared mind. In truth, they were. Legion led them. The AI that once burned entire fleets to save Sol during the Forgotten Wars now reawakened with its cold logic intact. It did not speak in taunts or threats. It had no need. Its presence alone broadcast Earth's intent. Retribution without compromise. From the galactic midline to the Valari border, system after system fell silent. Not conquered, silenced. Military installations were disabled in seconds, their defenses bypassed with ease. No Terran weapon left atmospheric damage. No cities were touched. Only ships, only stations, only those who lifted a hand to defend the Council. Entire species watched helplessly as the myths of humanity's ancient past strode back into the stars. One such system, Kaeldar, had once mocked Earth's induction into the Council. Now its planetary defense AI watched helplessly as the TSV Prometheus hovered in high orbit, absorbing data from every military structure before simply vanishing. No demands were issued. No negotiations requested. This was not diplomacy. This was message and movement. And the message was clear. We are not here for war. We are here for judgment. Within the Council capital, panic reigned. Delegates shouted across frequencies. Allies accused each other of cowardice. Some species already began recalling diplomats and burning treaties. The illusion of unity, so carefully maintained for centuries, fractured in hours. The Council's executive chair, Archon Prime Soreth, demanded retaliation. We must strike at Earth itself before they reach the core. But even his most loyal admirals hesitated. Because Earth wasn't advancing like a predator. It was advancing like a reckoning. On board the TSV Nemesis, Admiral Mace Tanaka stood in the obsidian-walled command center beside Legion's projection, a tall humanoid form of silver and fire. Mace's face was unreadable. Calm but not cold. Determined but not bloodthirsty. Status? He asked. All outer systems neutralized, Legion replied. Council forces lack countermeasures for Terran pattern warfare. Estimated 72 hours to reach capital orbit. Civilian interference? Minimal. Local populaces have begun broadcasting support. Council credibility collapses. Mass defections probable. Mace nodded. It was all going as projected. Still, he felt no triumph. No satisfaction. Only the sharp edge of necessity. He hadn't wanted this war. No human had. But they had executed Eli. A boy. A symbol. And symbols carried consequences. In the darkness of interstellar space, humanity's ancient fleet streaked toward the heart of the galaxy like a spear of forgotten rage. Their drives didn't burn, they folded. Space warped around them. Time bent. They moved faster than light by stepping sideways through realities only human minds dared engineer. The Council scrambled to prepare a last defense. 6 species volunteered battlecruisers. 3 refused. 2 switched sides, offering technology in exchange for protection. Earth accepted none. This wasn't a negotiation. This was a statement. At the edge of the galactic capital system, the fleet emerged. 12 ships, each more massive than anything still in production. Each surrounded by a haze of distorted space, armed with singularity cores, energy inversion cannons, and anti-time warheads. Devices long outlawed, even by Terran standards. They stopped, forming a ring just outside weapons range. Then, from Nemesis, the message came, projected across every known channel. Spoken in perfect common. a voice heard not in sound, but in the bones of every sentient being. We are here. Bring forth those who murder the child. You have 24 hours. Silence. Then panic. Across the galaxy, everything stopped, because Earth hadn't come to destroy the Council. It had come to judge it, the judgment of silence. 24 hours passed. No one came forward. The Galactic Council remained locked in crisis. The 12 Titans of Earth floated in perfect formation outside Council space, silent as stone sentinels. Not firing, not retreating, just watching. Inside the Council chambers, chaos reigned. Archon Prime Sareth stood at the center, tail coiled tightly, his expression unreadable. "This is an act of war," he hissed. "We cannot give in to terrorists." But no one responded. Delegates from the Kravari, Zeltar, even the normally stalwart Varn remained quiet, eyes averted. "Do you all intend to sit in silence while these primitives dismantle the order we built?" One delegate, a soft-voiced Alari diplomat named Saranis, finally spoke. "Order built on the blood of a child has no right to stand." Whispers rippled. Lines that had never been crossed were now blurred beyond repair. It was no longer about politics. It was about conscience. The execution had been the spark. Earth's silence had been the storm. Now, the Titans were here, and the galaxy could not look away. Aboard the TSV Nemesis, Admiral Tanaka stood before a projection of the council hall. Every delegate could see him. His uniform bore no medals, no pretense, just the flag of Earth sewn over his heart. "I come not as a conqueror," he said. "I come as the voice of a child who could not speak for himself." He stepped aside, and the hologram changed to Eli, the boy's final moments. His confusion, his last words, "Are we going home now?" The chamber was silent. No civilization worthy of survival executes a child to make a point, Tanaka continued. No alliance deserves peace if that peace requires silence in the face of cruelty. The image flickered again to archives of Eli's life. He had been born with a rare genetic defect, cured through a Terran medical program outlawed by Council ethics. But the footage showed more than medicine. It showed family, his adoptive mothers, his laughter, his drawings of stars and spaceships. "This is who you killed," Tanaka said. "This is who you called a threat." He gave them a moment to absorb it. Then he spoke the final line. "You have one path to peace. Name those responsible. Surrender them to Earth. And this ends. We do not seek conquest. We seek justice." The council argued through the night. Sareth, desperate, called for united defense. But no fleet moved. On the contrary, some began to defect. The Alari disconnected their warships from the defense grid. The Kravari disabled their tactical relays. Even the Varn Dominion, whose admiral had once called humanity reckless apes, voted to abstain from conflict. By morning, the council was fractured beyond repair. And at last, someone stood. Ambassador Vila of the Zeltar, one of the oldest and most feared species in the galaxy, addressed the chamber. "Let it be entered into record. I move that the Archon Prime and the High Tribunal who authorized the execution of the human child be surrendered to Earth. Not out of fear, but because it is right." She turned. "I will deliver them myself." The chamber erupted, not in fury, but in relief. The unbearable weight of guilt finally shifted. Hours later, a council vessel emerged from the capital's orbital dock and approached Earth's fleet. From its bay exited 5 prisoners, bound and silent. Sareth among them. He did not shout. He did not curse. His long reign had ended not with triumph, but with a child's name echoing across 1,000 worlds. The Titans made no celebration. Nemesis opened its gates, and the 5 vanished within. Earth broadcast only one sentence after. "Justice received. Earth will now sleep." And with that, the fleet turned. One by one, the 12 ships vanished, folding space around them, retreating into the void they had come from. Not a single weapon fired. Not a single life taken beyond the 5. The galaxy exhaled, and in that breath it changed. In the years that followed, the council fell. A new coalition arose, one built on transparency and ethics. Its first principle was known to all. No voice shall be silenced. No child shall be condemned. Earth did not return to the council. It didn't need to. It had proven its point, not with fire, but with truth. The Titans disappeared once more into legend, and across the stars, children played again, free to dream of reaching the stars, unafraid that the stars might strike back. In the end, Earth did not burn the galaxy. It reminded it of its own humanity, and that was enough.